Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Musical Moments with the HBCU Collective. And today, I have a great friend with me, Mr. Eric Jimenez. I'm so happy for you, man. He's returning to Prairie View A&M University as the Assistant Director of Bands. Eric, how you doing?
I'm good, bro. How you doing?
Man, I'm great. It's good to have you here, and so that we can talk about what's going on with you, what's going on at Prairie View, and how your experience at the HBCU has tailored you to become who you are now. So tell me a little bit about your experience at Prairie View when you were there.
So I got there. My freshman class was 2005, and I graduated from the music and theater department there in 2009. I did my stint. I did my 4.5 years with that half year of student teaching, but what I can say is that I absolutely loved it, and I think that's a big indicator as to why I'm back. From everything from the experience of the marching band to the cultural explosion experience within the fraternal organizations to the campus culture, homecoming, etc. It just that in itself has lended to the love and support that I continue to not only receive, but I would love to give back as an HBCU alumnus.
Absolutely, man. A lot of great things are going on at Prairie View A&M. We have a lot of close friends over there that make sure that they're giving the absolute best to the student musicians on campus there. You're also a huge part of a major podcast, the Score podcast. Tell us about what's going on with that and how that has grown to this huge entity now that everybody tunes into.
So man, we're about 2 years in now, 2.5 years in, and it all started because twofold. One was Justin and I would recognize this lack of a conversation, specifically at conferences and presentations and clinics that did not necessarily address or talk about the setting that we were teaching in or came from. And if it did, it was talked about in a negative aspect with these stereotypes, with these field assumptions. And we would kind of turn our eyebrow up like, that's not necessarily the case. But he and I both being optimists, we would look at it, okay, that applies to y'all. And I'll give you an example. Like we would go to the honor band sessions at our state conference, and we would know their demographical socioeconomic status is completely different from ours. But what do they do that can fit our program? If okay,
Absolutely.
I can't get a staff of 8, but I can make my student leaders take charge of that. I can look at it in a different lens. So that in itself allowed us to now create the podcast. And then with my graduate studies that I was doing, I was looking at also how is scholarship, how are these publications reaching our community? How are they, as a high school band director, I remember I was like, do I even have time to sit down and read a 15-page article? No, I didn't. And if I did have free time, I'm dedicating it to my family. So,
Right.
but I did have time to listen to something on the drive home or the drive back, that allowed me to say, you know what, let's change the scholarship and how we receive this information to an audible version of it. And so, but
Hey man,
luckily,
y'all did this before COVID too.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
you all kind of had that niche going before everybody started doing these webinars and podcasts.
for sure, yeah.
You are already doing it. So, y'all are kind of the OGs in this game a little bit, man. And I know that you all have had the creative authority to even do it live sometime at some of the MEA conventions. And I know you and I will be sharing with people at LMEA convention coming up next week, and you'll be here in Baton Rouge and with your tag team partner, and this is going to be a great thing. Justin is going to come in, and
Yeah.
so I just look forward to hanging with you and sharing with you next week. I want to take just a quick second to put a little quick commercial in for people that are watching this week. We're opening up scholarships for conn-selmer Institute for HBCU collegiates. Those students that are interested in being educators later on, this is the opportunity for you to really get a chance to come and hang out with some of the best and brightest minds in music education. Happening this summer. The information is coming across the screen as I speak. It's going to be this June at Bethel University in Indiana. I think you need to be there. In fact, I know you need to be there. And because I know more than 5 of you need to, we're also going to give 10 virtual option scholarships away to HBCU collegiate students. So let's make sure that we take advantage of this offering through our sponsorship from the NAM Foundation. So we really appreciate NAM for really sticking in there and making sure that our HBCU collegiates have an opportunity to participate in conn-selmer Institute live and virtual this summer.